As young men, we should seek to build an impenetrable will, a will to act, a will to change, a will to move towards our goals, to follow God, to do the right thing. It's something which is not talked about a lot, like a will. We use our will every day, every choice we make, every thought we choose to act on, every word we use and we speak. It's a choice of the will. And the will is the place where evil can be done or good can be done. The greatest goods can be done and the greatest evils, both. We must order our will, use it for the greater good. And it needs to be strong, it needs to be moulded and calloused through discipline. It all starts with a mindset shift. And then it turns into action. Do you want to be a hero? Not in a cringy way, but do you want to be someone who is just, who can stand up against evil, someone who can defend what is right and be principled? Do you want to stand against tyrants, against people who are merciless, people who want what they want and are willing to do what it takes because they have their own twisted, selfish will? Are you willing to stand up against that? That is an act of strong will if you can. We should all be striving to build that will so that we can face evil courageously, with boldness, with faith in good, trusting in God, most importantly. Or do we want to be defeated? Do we want to be weak and not able to stand up against evil? Just is standing against evil when it's there in front of you and being ready to act in the moment where evil appears. And we need a will to do that. And if we don't have a will to do that, we will fall to weakness. We will fall to the challenges of life, and we won't fulfill our duty as men, and we won't follow the commandments of God. Really think about that, really dwell on it. I really have thought about it a lot as well in the past year. Seeing the world how it is, seeing situations in my life, how fragile and weak I am, how cowardly I am, and how cowardly the world is, how weak we all are, how lost we've become. But then there's also hope, because I've seen people who stand up against evil. I've even in certain situations stood up against evil which I couldn't before, and I've seen a glimmer of hope, some faith in the world, in myself, but most importantly in God, that we can change, that we can turn away from passive weakness, tolerance of evil, and we can stand up against evil. We can face it, no matter how evil it is, how wretched and destructive it is, no matter how scared it makes you feel. If you have a strong will, founded in faith in God, in the principles of God, and you're willing to do what is necessary, despite the backlash, despite the consequences, for the sake of good, for the sake of the benefit of others, you can stand up against evil. But anyway, about the will. We need the will to do that. We need to build a will. And how do we do that? We have to challenge ourselves. We have to face conflicts in our life, the smallest conflicts. And you know, we can say the smallest conflicts, but what are those? You know, like in your daily life, when something happens in your house, you haven't done something right, and your mum's going off on you, or your dad's going off on you, or your girlfriend is going off on you, or someone in your life has got a problem with you at work or something. If you face that conflict, it could be a small thing, and you just do it with seeking peace, first of all, but also with boldness, like confront it, even if it makes you feel uncomfortable, even if it makes you feel scared, even if you feel a threat. Face it, do it, because if you don't do it, it will grow. It will grow into something with teeth. It will get more violent, it will get more powerful, it will take more power over you if you do not face it. In the small things, if your friend is annoying you and he's doing something which is disrespectful or dishonorable to you, and you feel it and you see it, you don't just feel it but you see it, you don't have to expose him right in front of everyone and crash out and get angry and stuff, but you just need to take him to the side and just say, you've done this multiple times. I'm not sure if you're doing it on purpose or what you're doing, but it is affecting me and I find it disrespectful. So I hope we can make amends, and I hope you can see where I'm coming from. And you might not have to do that much. Like, I haven't had to do that much recently, but we have to be willing to do that. We have to be ready to do that. We have to do it when the situations arise, even if it's uncomfortable. It's so important to restore your relationships and also to keep tyrants in check, keep evil in check, in yourself and in others. Like, I want people to do that to me. When I do evil to others, I want people to rebuke me, to give me some feedback on what I'm doing against them and how I'm making them feel. And, you know, it's good. We should all want that. We should all strive to want that. I say that, but when it happens, I'll probably crash out or, you know, just take it the wrong way. Lord have mercy. But still, we should strive to be able to take criticism and to give criticism when it's due, when it's needed, when it stops the breaking away of relationships, when it stops resentment and all of that. We have to confront it in a peace-seeking way. Don't do it in anger, in vengeance, in all of the other human emotions that come with disrespect and dishonour, that come out of pride. But that's a way to build a strong will, in the small things. And then when the big situations arrive, when there's a real push or shove situation where there's real danger or there's a real source of evil in front of you and you have to confront it, because you've built that will in the small things, because you're seeking to bring justice on this earth, you're seeking to follow God, you know that God is watching you and that it's your duty to protect, to care, and to be someone who puts evil in its place. I'm not saying to overstep the law or do anything like that. The police are there for a reason. God has ordained these governors and these authorities to have a justice system to be in use. So obviously certain situations you do need to call the police. You do need to get the police involved. But not in all situations. Some things you can't. Some things are right there in front of you and you have to deal with it yourself. That's when we have to use our will and act. Because we can prepare, we can train, we can do all the study and all the assessing and we can do all the talking. But at the end of the day, it comes down to the will. Whether we will act, whether we will speak out, whether we will do what is necessary in the moment to do what is right. It all depends on our will. So face those fears, face those confrontations, face those uncomfortable situations which you don't want to face, which I don't want to face. I need to do the same. Face them, and face them with courage, face them with joy of seeking peace, of trying to seek peace where you can, but sometimes you can't always make peace. You can't make peace when someone wants war. You can't. You can't be naive and try to be passive and peaceful with someone who is unruly, who wants what they want, who is merciless. But seek peace and seek the best for another. And sometimes that is by exposing what they're doing, the evil that they're doing. Sometimes it is physically getting involved and stopping someone from doing something. And sometimes it's just a look in the eye. But you have to have a strong will to be able to do those things. As young men, we're not taught this. I wasn't taught this. It was just, don't fight, don't backchat, don't do this, that. Or if someone does this to you, do that. Or turn the other cheek in this pacifist Protestant way, which is false. Of course, if someone insults you directly and hits you, you don't have to hit them. You don't. I think personally we shouldn't. Like, that's my personal opinion. I think that's quite clear. We should allow ourselves to be mistreated for the sake of Christ, for the sake of righteousness. But when it comes to other people, when we're standing up for others, when we're defending others, we have to be ready to lay hands on people. Only when necessary. Only when necessary. But we have to be ready to speak out, to stand up, to address the problem. That is our duty. And seek peace in everything. But we do that by confronting evil. And discipline is the key to building our will. We must do things we don't want to do. Train, pray, study, work, doing all those things build your will. Standing up, speaking out when you need to, in the small things like I said earlier. But speaking out, when you feel that conviction in your conscience to speak out, speak. And speak carefully. Think about what you're going to say and say it. But make sure you do speak in some form. You do stand up when you feel that conviction too. We can't be cowards. And we all are cowards. I'm a big coward. I have been. But you don't have to stay a coward. I'm not going to stay a coward. I'm going to strive with all my might to not be a coward, to face evil. We have to be willing to do this. If we want to be God's true servants, if we want to be those good and faithful servants, if we want to be warriors of truth, of righteousness, we must be willing to stand up against all forms of evil, no matter how dark, no matter how merciless, no matter how wicked it is. Let us do this with faith, most importantly in God, grounded and founded in God, because otherwise we will just be operating out of pride in ourselves, out of what we want, out of what we think about the situation, how we feel when we're angry, when we're stressed, when we're scared, when we're cowardly. We'll do certain things and it will go too far, we won't do enough, and it's like, and that's how it will be when we're trying to follow God, but still, we won't be indulging in ourselves completely. We will be thinking, God, you lead me. God, you tell me what to do. God, let me follow your commands, and you refer to God in all you do. Let us do that. God bless.